I bring greetings from my country. Country for which all of us are the part, and the country which is home to today proudly, the world's largest chain. When I say world, I mean it. World's largest chain of reconstructive and cosmetic gynecology clinics, Alessandre, and Indian College of Cosmetic Gynecology today, which has trained more cosmetic gynecologists globally than any other institution or a training program in the world. I'm going to be talking about two very, very important issues today. One, now, and one in a few hours from now. And we will talk about the future of feminine rejuvenation. Now, I'm sure all of you have heard about vaginal rejuvenation, so on and so forth, and terms which at times confuse between the subspecialty definition itself. How many of you have heard of all these terms? Cosmetic surgery, cosmetic dermatology, and cosmetic gynecology. If you hesitate, I will. Out of them, the first two do not exist in the academic world. They're just marketing terms and nothing beyond that. In no medical university in the world, cosmetic surgery or cosmetic dermatology has ever been taught. And this is not approved as a medical subspecialty from the National Medical Commission, which governs and regulates medical practice in this country. So they're just marketing terms, and if you do any such procedures, you are supposed to charge GST from the clients and deposit GST with the government if you do any cosmetic surgery or cosmetic dermatology procedure. Whereas cosmetic gynecology is a medical subspecialty approved by the National Medical Commission, and which I had the proud privilege of establishing and heading a MCH program at All India Institute at its Rishikesh campus last decade, end of last decade. Now, when we talk of cosmetic gynecology, this differentiates itself from the other misnomers and marketing terms which a couple of company-based programs or their sponsored people prefer using, like aesthetic gynecology, functional gynecology, regenerative gynecology, so on and so forth. None of them is a medical subspecialty. None of them is approved by the NMC, and none of them is a regulated medical practice. And therefore, cosmetic gynecology is totally independent of any such misnomer or marketing terminology. Now, what are the treatment options when we talk of cosmetic gynecology? Surgery. Surgery remains at the top of it, and the kind of results which you can get with surgery are absolutely unparalleled. A lot of people think that cosmetic gynecology is just about buying a laser, a radio frequency, or any other such energy-based device, holding it in hand, and they claim themselves to be cosmetic gynecologists. Actually, at all such so-called programs, which are normally sponsored by the laser industry, they convert you into laser technicians. So the right nomenclature after any such training where you are trained on using a laser device or any such device would be a technician, and it is a demotion from you being a gynecologist or a doctor. So please understand, holding a handpiece in the hand does not make you a cosmetic gynecologist, because besides the non-surgical part of the subspecialty, which is itself far more than just holding an energy-based device, it constitutes surgery, which stays one of the important pillars of the subspecialty. The scope of our today's discussion would not permit me time to get into any further depths, but then this remains the gold standard for many procedures. Although with the current advancements in cosmetic gynecology, it is almost impossible to have a pure surgical cosmetic gynecology practice, and you cannot have a cosmetic gynecology practice till the time you have the right armamentarium into your practice. It has got high efficacy. Cost versatility absolutely depends on the surgical expertise and how much do you want to charge for your surgical expertise. You may do a surgery free of cost and you may charge 10 lakhs as a surgical fees. It's absolutely your take. And downtime is a big problem there, because after any vaginal surgery, a woman has to have abstinence for at least 6 weeks. So there is downtime. After surgery, there are fillers, threads and fat graftings. Better marketing things, well listened, speaking from the stages, but then the patients don't accept it. And they have a lot of problems between them. We will again not be able to go into the depth of it, that what is the scope and what are the issues concerned. Then comes energy-based devices. Now, energy-based devices have become very, very popular. The first reason is the learning curve is zero. I can make you a technician in 15 minutes. So, you don't need any learning curve. So, second, there has been an industry push for right and wrong devices both. It is always medicine and pharmaceutical industry or equipment industry are correlated for good and bad reasons. We cannot exist independent of them, definitely, but we need to know how to separate wheat from the chaff and how to differentiate between chalk and cheese. But the kind of efficacy with the current devices is reaching at amazing heights. There is no downtime with the right device. There is no risk, and the versatility is again amazing. We are using energy-based devices before surgery, with surgery, after surgery, and without surgery. So it is very important that you have the correct armamentarium when you are using any such things, and that is why energy-based devices have been effective. But still, cosmetic gynecology market, despite cosmetic gynecology now being an approved subspecialty, has not grown like cosmetic dermatology, aesthetic medicine, and even cosmetic surgery. What is the reason? The reasons are because gynecologists are never unemployed. Gynecologists are generally busy, and they're busy with physiology. Because women will get pregnant, they will come to a gynecologist. If they don't become pregnant, even then they come to a gynecologist. If the women will have periods earlier, they will come to a gynecologist. If they got it delayed, they will come to a gynecologist. If there is more bleeding, they have to come to a gynecologist. And if there is less bleeding even then, they are worried and they come to a gynecologist. So, right from the cradle to the last breath, women need gynecologists. And in a country of 1.4 billion people with just less than 50,000 trained gynecologists, no gynecologist is devoid of work. And probably that was the reason why many gynecologists thought that since we are working, deliveries हो रही हैं, MTPs हो रही हैं, AUB हो रहा है, hysterectomy हो रही है, ART हो रहा है, IVF हो रहा है, so why bother yourself? And then there are a lot of misconceptions surrounded by it, because what I will show you, when we walk this talk further, that there has been no subspecialty of gynecology, including endoscopy, including ART, which has risen so exponentially and so fast as cosmetic gynecology. But the markets globally have yet not grown. There are two important reasons which I have tried to squeeze in. Number one, I told you gynecologists are not unemployed. Unlike if you go back to dermatology 3 decades back, daad khaj khujli ke doctors. When I was an MBBS student, people would hardly think of taking dermatology, because what would you do? Patients would never get cured. You will keep giving them steroids and antibiotic creams, and that is the end of it, and patients never leave you. You don't cure. But they realized that they can get into beautification. They can start being wellness practitioners, and that is what changed the game. And today, dermatology is one of the first choices of any undergraduate while he or she opts for a postgraduate program. So it is not dermatology, it is actually the aesthetics or the cosmetic dermatology part of it, because what they learn in their MD program, they don't come and practice outside, and what they practice outside is still not taught in medical universities, unfortunately. Second, gynecologists, as I said, the busy and successful clinicians. We talk about robotic surgery, we find the thrill of decision making in obstetrics, we find, again, a thrill of playing with the blood. We are into bloody business, let it be obstetrics, let it be gynecology. we have got our, surgical thrills out of the surgeries we perform, and then we have never been trained on energy-based devices. And it would take, a generation that once every postgraduate students get trained into this, probably that is when they would realize what is the opportunity ahead. And third, many gynecologists, and I would say most of gynecologists today have multiple practices. They have their clinics, they go to 4 hospitals, they have attachments. So if they have to have a heavy initial cost of establishing a practice, it becomes a detriment. And they feel, oh my God, who's going to invest further? Pregnancies will happen. Some of them will come for abortion, some of them will come for deliveries, and if they will not, get pregnant, even then they will come for getting pregnant. Life is good. So, that is the reason why the markets did not grow. Now, we thought that it needs a two-pronged approach, and that has to be the way forward. First, good training into non-deceptive practice of cosmetic gynecology, because the kind of industry-pushed training programs which have happened in last 5 years have actually done more harm than good. And when people use the wrong devices, they end up using devices, we will talk about chromophores. Many people are using lasers where the chromophore is hemoglobin and trying to burn vaginas. Actually burning vaginas without knowing that they're burning vaginas, because some gynecologist with eminence who was hired by a laser company stands up on stage and says, oh, this is a great device, you use it, without getting into the science of it. So it has done more harm than good. And in the end, when people do not get results, they feel, oh, it doesn't work, it's useless, it's all bull crap. So that is one problem. So that is why it's very important to give a non-deceptive, give a complete hands-on training on all various devices, getting into the science of all of them before you take a decision that what you would like to use, and have a non-deceptive practice where you don't put deceptive claims to make designer vaginas and Barbie labias and start degrading and humiliating womankind for whom you are healthcare practitioners. You cannot do more damage to medicine than claim that you will make some designer vaginas and Barbie labias. That is not medical science. That may be a beauty parlor business. We were not trained for that. That is for what we didn't take our own. Second, probably a portable solution to deliver feminine healthcare and cater for multiple issues which today make a form, which today make the subject of cosmetic gynecology. Let us explore the solution number 2 here, and that is what we're going to be talking about beyond lasers and radiofrequency, the future of feminine rejuvenation. If we talk about the present energy options available in the market, we have the carbon dioxide lasers, we have the argoniac lasers, we have diodes, which are actually not lasers, they're semiconductor devices, but since laser is a marketable term, they prefer calling them lasers. Then you have different radio frequency devices, then you have the plasma energy, and you have HIFU. Now before I get into it, let me tell you what all it can do. It can totally rejuvenate, reclaim and revive femininity. It can take care of urinary incontinence up till certain grades. It can take care of both if you are using the right device and in the right manner. It can take care of not only the stress but also the urgency incontinence. It can treat vaginal laxity, right? Now, a loose vagina is not a fancy term. It is a medical disorder, and it is the number 1 pelvic floor dysfunction. And vaginal laxity, therefore, is covered in medical practice. So, it can treat vaginal laxity and create a tighter vagina, something which a woman had pre-pregnancy, pre-delivery. It can take care of vulvovaginal lichen sclerosis, right? We are treating non-healing fistulas using these devices, and many additional functions on the vulva, and also treat vulvovaginal atrophy. Now, the latest thing, and which we're going to be talking today towards the end of this discussion, is something amazing, that the same kind of devices have started treating cervical diseases, and a marketing term which we have given it as cervical rejuvenation, but it has started treating cervical diseases, and we're getting almost 100% results in cervical ectopy, so-called cervical erosion, and HPV infections up till CIN1 are getting reversed. Now this has totally revolutionized the way gynecologists will practice gynecology, and probably there is a ray of hope that these treatments actually can be preventive for cancer of the cervix, because we know that cervical erosion and cervical ectopy are risk factors for HPV infections, which further leads on to the cancer of cervix. Although we are yet a little away from proving it properly, but definitely we have enough preliminary data to say that there is a ray of hope. Now, this is what the energy-based devices can do. Not all of them can do everything, but that is what majority of the devices claim to do. Now, let us see what works in gynecology. Now, I have given it a little red and green color to tell you that red, everything what is in red has a potential to cause harm. And following the medical principle, primum non nocere, first do no harm. Everything what is in red goes out. And I will talk about the science why they go out. Just because, not because I'm standing here on the stage and you're sitting there and I'm saying and that is correct. No, that doesn't work like this. There's no medicine of eminence which runs anymore. Today it is evidence-based medicine, and even I keep learning daily from my students. If they can convince me, I will get convinced, or I will convince them. That is the way we practice medicine, and that is the way I have been practicing medicine for all last 3 decades I have been into medical practice. Now, why I tell? Because the carbon dioxide lasers are ablative. Although one particular carbon dioxide laser, which is not available yet in India, claims that their pulse duration is less than the thermal relaxation time of tissue, and they do not cause fibrosis, but this is not proven by evidence, and I will show you the evidence. I will show you level 1 evidence today what CO2 lasers can do. So I know that many people have purchased CO2 lasers. Many people are inserting CO2 lasers in vagina and treating vagina like the face. If you pick up literatures of the 2018-19 CO2 lasers, there was a wave of CO2 lasers being sold in India. Even the literature says it is working beautifully on vaginal skin. I don't know where did people sleep when they didn't even think that there's no skin in vagina. But people were being taught that because it is safe on face, it is safe in vagina, and it is safe on facial skin, it's safe in vaginal skin. So the CO2 lasers are absolutely out. I will never use a carbon dioxide laser because it's ablative, because it will cause fibrosis and it is proven to cause harm. I will never use a carbon dioxide laser in vagina.